Hi, I'm Karen Heller, and I'm here to ease your job search pain. You're here because job searching has been frustrating and causing you a lot of pain. And while that is a normal part of job searching, you're going to face some challenges. There might be some disappointments. It shouldn't be your everyday experience. It should be very little of your experience. And in my 10 years in career coaching, there are some very common pains that job seekers tend to have, and a lot of them are completely avoidable. So I want to see if I can help you address your pain, give you a solution to it, and then also reverse engineer where the cause of the pain is coming from so that we can eliminate it. And in most cases, that pain can absolutely be eliminated. So I'm here on the campus of Drexel University, where I'm a professor of college of career management and professional development. I teach the business students here how to pursue and land a job. And it's something, again, that I've been doing for 10 years for corporate executives and professionals. So one of the first pains that job seekers normally have is that they are not getting responses. Now that could be they're not getting responses from jobs. There also could be that they're trying to use their network to get a job, to get introductions, and they're not getting responses. They're sending LinkedIn messages. Let's just talk first about not getting responses from job applications. You could be one of thousands of resumes in a database. You could have a really great resume, and if it's not seen by human eyes, then you can't expect an action to come back to you. So one of the solutions is that you can stop using applying online as your first action. Okay? That's true whether your resume is the issue or not. The other thing is that you have to make sure your resume has everything that you need to make an impression that would inspire an employer to call you for an interview. How do you know? There is a blog, a video blog actually, so it's a vlog on YouTube, and there are 10 items that if your resume has these things in it, you should scrap it and rewrite it. Here at Epic Careering, not only am I a certified professional resume writer, so if you have more money than time, you can engage me to write it for you professionally. If you have very little money, which a lot of job seekers find them in that position, whether because they've been unemployed for a while or because they've been underemployed for a while, then I do have tools that you can use that actually make the writing process a little bit fun, because I have found that the most frustrating part of writing a resume is, number one, being able to talk about yourself and find out objectively what is it really about me that employers want to know. Sometimes there are things you want employers to know about you, but if employers don't need that information to determine that you're a fit for a job, then it is essentially not really great use of the real estate of your resume. So we guide you in really where everything should go based on what the employer really needs to know in order to qualify you. So we do it, this tool that we have, that we offer, it makes it a lot like Mad Libs, if you remember. So with drop-down menus, so it's a little bit dummy-proof and also a lot more fun. But the way you can tell if your resume is performing for you or not, if it's even seen by human eyes, because if you're applying online, then your chances of having your resume seen by human eyes are very little. Then you can go to that vlog, which I will share with you, probably below here, below in the comments or as an overlay to this video, so that you can go check out those 10 things that if your resume has. Now just don't go there yet, because there are some other pains that I want to relieve, and I want to do it quickly because time is important for everybody. And I don't want to spend a lot of time giving you advice that you can't just immediately put into action. So what we do with our clients is make sure that we are efficiently using their time, giving them the advice they need, putting them in action, getting them out in the world. Yes, you might come across some little bumps and challenges and things that you're uncertain of. We give the support so that we can address that, but go out there, be in action, absolutely, Let's spend as little time as possible learning in front of a computer and more time out there making things happen. That's what we like to do for our clients. So the other pain that I want to help you relieve today, if that's not your relief, maybe it's because you're not seeing enough opportunity. Maybe that's true. Maybe you're in an industry where the skills are becoming more obsolete or they're being updated by new skills that you don't have. As a former IT recruiter, there were mainframe databases and mainframe languages that very few people had, but we still had clients who ran on these mainframes. So even though they were older technologies, I still needed to find talent that had those skills. And that actually became more high in demand because they didn't want somebody who used these skills 10 years ago. They wanted somebody who's been using these skills, as of a couple months ago. So even though you might not see a high volume of opportunities, sometimes that is not really a great litmus to determine if opportunity is viable for you. So the first thing is, don't use volume of opportunity to determine that. The other thing is, don't use job boards. If you're looking on job boards and you're using the number of results that are applicable to your search to determine, wow, there's only 3 results that actually match the criteria that could be viable opportunities compared to if I did this search, there are 10 or 20. Your viability for a job has little to do with volume because, again, you could be high in demand or those jobs, you could have very rare skill sets for those jobs. But also, your viability has a lot to do with your passion. You definitely will have an advantage over anybody else if you can passionately talk about solving particular problems related to your profession. You'll just make that impression. You'll shine above the rest. If you don't have that passion, then being a long-term candidate seems a little less likely from the employer's perspective. If you have that passion, then they, as an employer, if they're a good employer, feel like I can feed that passion. I can give this person problems that they're passionate about solving. We'll keep them engaged, and obviously we'll get our problem solved. Passion is one ingredient that you need. I've heard people contest this, saying it's not really all that important in your career. You can go pursue your passions outside of work, or what's more important is being able to apply skills and strengths that you have. And I'm not saying that that's not important. That's absolutely important. But we spend a lot of time in our jobs. And I have known people who woke up every day with this knot in their stomach. If they drive, they're almost sick, like going to throw up going to work because they just don't feel like they're a match for what they do. Or they realize after so many years the time that they sacrificed from their family or their interests or being somebody who can contribute to their community or a family member was inhibited by going to this job every day and not being passionate. And I happen to think that if you don't have passion, then it's easy to say that it's not that important. But when you do have a job where you have passion, you wonder why anybody goes to a job that you're not passionate about. Success comes so much easier. You're being pulled by something. You don't have to push so hard. Now, maybe these people are just really good at pushing. And some people are very good at pushing. Some people just have willpower. They have determination. I'm not saying I'm not one of those people. I certainly am. But I also have found that it's much easier to be pulled by something that you feel passionate about than to push yourself every day. And if you have found that willpower falters, like most people have, habits are hard to form, just imagine that this is where you would be without passion pulling you towards that activity that you need to do to be successful. And this is where you're at when you're being pulled. So passion is something that you should definitely think about. Now, are there needs? There's absolutely something called the hidden job market. It's not an enigma, it does exist, and it's not on job boards. So if you're looking on job boards to find a job, then you're going to miss out on the hidden job market. And I've heard statistics say that the hidden job market represents 90% of the opportunities available. And I honestly don't know what the statistics are, nor can I validate what anybody else has said. But I know from empirical evidence, I know from working with my clients who have created their own opportunities by using an effective campaign strategy, then they have found that they've landed opportunities, they've generated opportunities that were never on a job board. That's happened, I think, 3 times in the past few months, that a client has talked to somebody, had a conversation, really just more about their needs. There was no position posted. In a couple of instances, their corporate policy was that we can't hire somebody for this new position without posting it internally. So they go through that process. In one instance, the opportunity didn't turn out because they posted the internal opportunity and somebody else wound up being a better fit. However, if that person doesn't work out, then my client could be a potential fit for it. And then in another instance, they did wind up hiring the client because they posted it internally as a formality and they didn't find somebody stronger. So she created her own opportunity. I've done this, again, 10 years, and I can't tell you, I don't know if I can count how many times it's happened. No opportunity posted at all, but just knowing that somebody had a need and that you have solved problems in the past that other people must have too. And that's really the better determining factor of whether there's opportunity out there for you. It might not be a lot of opportunities, but you don't need a lot of opportunities. You need one. You need one really great opportunity. That being said, momentum is pretty important to having the confidence to move forward. So even if there are only 4 or 5 viable opportunities, we help our clients become the top candidates for those 4 or 5 opportunities. So that's still a really good, fair amount of momentum, as opposed to, I've heard people sending out 300 resumes, getting nothing back, spending months just trying to figure out what they could have done, what they didn't do. Hopefully, if you're in that situation, this is helping you understand that it can be fixed. It can all be fixed. So the next thing that we're going to talk about as far as a pain goes is not getting leads from your network. So along the lines of the no responses. There's another vlog that I have on YouTube that talks about some major mistakes that people make when they're engaging their network. And one of them is that they'll say, I'm looking for an analyst position. And this person is not an analyst, but maybe they work in a company where they hire analysts. And so this person is now, they want to help. They believe that you would make a good impression if they were to introduce you to somebody, but they're limited in how they can help you because now they're just looking for a job posting for an analyst. Whereas what they really need to be asking people is, do they have problems that you can solve? Whether that looks like being an analyst, maybe it looks like being a consultant, maybe it looks like coming in a completely different role that doesn't fit a certain particular box but enables you to solve that problem. So what you need to do is to train your network how to identify problems that you solve. And we have a formula that we share with our clients, with everybody. I wrote a blog about it. I'll share that too. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time right here with this because there are a ton of resources out there and I know there's a lot of advice. I just want you to have everything you need. So we're going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. But if your network isn't giving you responses, then, in some cases it could be because maybe they just don't have that confidence that if they were to make an introduction for you, that you might make a good impression, in which case that's a campaign that you have to reinitiate. You have to reestablish and inspire trust in your network. And you can do that in multiple different ways. You can do that with content marketing. You can do that just by understanding what it is that makes you valuable. This is what we do in the branding process. We make sure that our clients know 4 to 6 different things, we call them branding points, that make them not just qualified for their next job, but uniquely qualified. Things that they bring to the table that anybody else probably doesn't have. They don't have this unique combination. They don't have that unique experience. They don't have that perspective or that approach. A company will interview you based on your qualifications, but ultimately they give the offer to the person that aligns with their culture and their approach and their philosophies. So we want to make sure that our clients understand how to articulate that to people. That doesn't mean that you definitely can, and is the best practice to share your target companies with people. Hey, I'm looking to get into Comcast, I'm looking to get into Quest, I'm looking to get into these particular companies. That is information that would certainly help your network. But in addition to that, if they have contacts in Comcast or Quest, what they really need to understand is why would it be valuable for this other person to speak with you. Networking transforms then from tapping on shoulders and asking for favors to knowing that there's somebody out there who really needs you, and you are doing the research and doing the training of the people in your network to help you connect with that person. That little shift brings about a tremendous increase in introductions and interviews, offers, and it also does a great deal for your confidence and your ability to see that you can make things happen. You can control your career destiny. So little shift in your mindset, huge shift in results. All right, so the other one is not getting the offer. I probably talk to a couple people weekly that were finalists, or they're always the finalist. Kind of like always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I don't know if you could hear my knees as I was bending down there. All right, so you're interviewing, so it means your resume is working, as long as these are appropriate positions, so that's sometimes the cause. A lot of people believe that they've just determined, based on maybe the fact that job boards don't have a lot of postings for their target position, that they have to take a step down to accelerate their job search. This often actually does the opposite. It often prolongs your job search. The reason is because good employers want to hire somebody for a stretch opportunity. They want to hire somebody that they can engage long-term, help grow. So you taking a step down, even if you're willing to accept a lesser salary, often makes them, they're enticed because you have all these great skills that they can use. When it comes down to it, and this other person maybe doesn't have all the skills, they don't check every single box you do, but they know that they can do the job right now and they can offer them opportunities to grow. That's usually the preference of the employer, actually. Not to bring in somebody who has even more skills than the position requires, because they know that even if they're willing to take a step back in salary, maybe your lifestyle needs have lessened, you've downgraded your house, your kids are out, empty nesters don't need as much. It's still in the reasonable concerns of the employer to make sure that you're somebody that they can engage long term. Disengagement is an epidemic. Nearly 70% of American workers are disengaged in their job, and it costs companies like $14 billion annually. So companies also will trust their own past experience more than they'll trust you, convincing them that you can take this opportunity. This is a challenge that if you're sincerely just wanting to take a step back in your career because you don't want the high level responsibility, it's a challenge you have to learn how to strategize over, because that is a real concern for employers. You absolutely can, by the way, overcome that challenge if that's the situation you're in. You just literally, genuinely want to take a step back in responsibility. But if you're doing it simply because you think that you'll land faster, unfortunately, then you're experiencing the pain right now, and that's why you're here. It's not faster at all. All right, so if you're not getting offers because the positions aren't really a true fit, the best thing you can do is to make sure that your resume, your LinkedIn profile, any other pieces of collateral, and your campaign are optimized to help you accelerate toward a position that actually is in alignment with what you want and what you're qualified to do, and that's obviously where we can help. So one more that we are going to cover is that jobs aren't paying the same. You think you're lucky because I make this much money and it's been great. And then unfortunately what happens when you reach above the market value for a particular position is that you're at risk. Because if a company has any kind of financial sufferings, the first thing they're going to look at are the people who make too much. And they're going to cut you, and then you're going to be like, wow, I've been living this lifestyle because I could afford it, and now I can't, and that is a big pain. You may have to make sacrifices to the expenses that you have, and that hurts. But not being able to find a job that pays the same as you were earning, it's a real, because you can't just convince a company to pay you more than they're budgeted or than somebody else. You can if you have a very unique skill set, something you can offer above and beyond that will prove to give them ROI. We can take a look at that with you if that's the case. The other thing that you can do is to change industries to something that might pay more. If you don't know if an industry pays more, I would definitely take a look at Glassdoor and salary.com to find out if there is an industry that pays more, or again, you can work with us and we can help you figure that out. The other thing that may not fit everybody's situation, but if you actually took a step back from a full-time position, lessened your hours, and then picked up another source of income, that's another thing that you can do. Doesn't always work out for everybody's situation, but there are other ways to make money than in your job. And if you are used to earning this, changing industries, I would say follow the money. Where are people making the money in your role using your skill set? Chances are good, since they say that 20% of the people make 80% of the income, that there's somebody that you can use as an example to follow that. And again, we can help you determine if that's true, if that's the case, or if you have to do a plan B type of situation and scale down the salary to pick up an income. This conversation is painful just to have. I'm actually feeling stress from people out there right now just thinking about this. It seems daunting, right? Oh man, I have to do something new. I have to do something different. I have to take on something else. Maybe is the answer to that. But I know that I've used the time as efficiently as I possibly can to help you understand where some of the sources of your pain might be and what can be done to ease the pain. In the little bit of time I have not had the time to really share with you many of the programs that we have that can help you. But I do want to tell you that at the end of this month, which is February, we will be starting an accelerated 6-week Epic Careering Fast Track program. This is very similar to a 3-month life coaching program that we did last year, only double time. If you're out of work, or if you're underemployed, or if you just really are in a situation where you're in a lot of pain in your current situation, you need to fix it. 6 weeks to having that sense of momentum, sense of control, and that's what we want to be able to offer to you. So I will be posting information. I'll be sharing with you a link, hopefully below, that will enable you to enroll in this program. You have to do it soon. I only have so many spaces, and I want to help you ease your pain. That's a live group coaching program, so it's meant to help a lot more people at a lot lower price, but If you feel like working one-on-one with somebody who can really examine the specific challenges that you're undergoing, if you feel like you have a more particular case, not only will I love to help you, but I also will offer you a 30-minute free consultation so that you can sample what it's like and really understand what it is that I have as a plan for you moving forward. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope I've been able to ease some of your pain. And thanks for your patience as well. I've had a lot of challenges delivering this. And I read something recently that said, people don't care how hard you tried, they care what you deliver. And I really wanted to make it a point to deliver this easement of your pain.